Okay, so I cut all these tiles on the wet saw. This is a real stone, so it's going to be really difficult to try and cut it um, on a tile cutter. And if you get any loose pieces, I usually put a piece of tape on it to hold it in place, and then I will peel the tape off as I'm installing it. And as you can see, I have a nice clean line up against the wall, and the wall tile will sit on top of this. Okay, so these are the three components to the Schluter drain. This here snaps on here, like that. Then this goes through here, like that. And then it's going to go like there. And this, you can move this around a bit, a little bit of adjustment, and you can move it up and down a little bit. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now, and I'm going to lay out the tile, see how the tile falls, and then position this where it needs to go. You'll see in a minute. So, and this all gets filled with thin set here, and I'm going to put blue tape on here just to protect this a little bit, and then I'm going to start laying tile floor. So usually when I'm doing a shower floor, I will fit the whole shower floor dry. In other words, dry lay it. Most shower floors are a manageable size, so you can do this. If you've got a really big floor, it becomes a little more difficult, but most times it's rather easy to do. The floor is a manageable size and you can fit it in. Now, as I'm going along, I'm going to just rough cut the drain in, and once I get the whole shower floor all dry laid, I'm going to cut the pieces and fit to the drain. So this particular tile fit very well together. The sheets, when you put them together, you couldn't see any sheet lines. It was a very good fit. It was a very good quality tile. However, many times when you have these pebble tile sheets, they don't fit together very well, and you end up seeing all the sheet lines. In that case, I would peel all the tiles off and then lay the tiles in one at a time. When you do it that way, when you fit the tiles one at a time, you have no cutting. It doesn't take that much longer. Many times the pebbles will come off the sheets very easily. Sometimes they're a little bit harder, but it's well worth the effort. If you don't peel the tiles off the sheet when the sheets don't fit together very well, you will see sheet lines and it doesn't look very good at all. Test, fit your sheets together, see if they fit well, and then decide what you're going to do. Okay, so because there's going to be wall tile on top of this floor tile, you don't have to get a real precise measurement. You just want to make sure that when you put the wall tile on, it's going to cover the cut piece of the floor tile. You don't want to cut it tight to the wall. You want to leave a little bit of room for expansion and contraction. And like I said, you don't have to be precise in these measurements because you're not going to see these cut tiles. If you were cutting the tile up against the finished wall, then you would have to take more precise measurements. But in this case, a rough cut to approximately the right size will be fine as long as the finished wall tile covers that edge. So now that my whole floor tile is cut in around the perimeter, I'm going to fit the drain, and I'm going to fit precisely where it needs to be. And the best way to do this is just like I'm doing it now. Just use your drain and put your tiles in place, and then measure and mark the tiles and cut them. Square tiles, Square drains are going to be a lot easier to do than round drains, but basically it's the same process. So another thing to remember is once you've cut the tile, you want to stone the edge. And by stoning the edge, as you're going to see here, is just to rub the edge of the stone where you cut it with the rubbing stone. That will take off any sharp edges, so it'll be safe to walk on. And when you know, because you're going to be in the shell with bare feet, so you don't want to have any sharp edges. So you just fit the hole straight in, and then once that's done, you can start cementing it down. When you're installing tile, you never want to get cheap thinset. Always spend a little more money and get a quality thinset. So anyway, I'm going to cement, as you can see, I picked up one roll. Because I left the rest of the floor down, which is just dry fitted, I'm going to know exactly and precisely where the tiles fit. And it's going to go exactly where it was before. See how I placed the tiles on top of the other tiles, which are just dry laid there. So I'm going to carefully put them into place, and then I'm going to beat them in with a rubber float. You're going to see that in a second. But one thing I want to mention here too is the size of the trowel. You want to have the correct size of the trowel so that when you lay the tile into the thinset, you're going to get good transfer to the back of the tile. Now these mosaic tiles, you can't really back butter them because you're going to have a big huge mess. So you want to make sure you have an adequate size trowel so that you get good even coverage on the back of the tile. What you do is you're going to trowel out some cement, you're going to lay it in, then you're going to pick up one corner to see what your coverage is. If the coverage is not sufficient, you're going to move up to a bigger trowel. Here I'm looking at the coverage, and I see that I've got good coverage, so I'm going to keep going, and I'm beating it in with a flow. So you might ask, what kind of thinset mortar should you use? Well, that's a good question. I would suggest that you use the mortar that is recommended by the manufacturer of the system that you're using. In this case, it would be either Schluter set, which is an unmodified mortar, or Schluter all set, which is a premium modified mortar. That doesn't mean you can't use other mortars. You just want to make sure that if you do use another manufacturer's mortar, that it is compatible with the system you're using. In this case, I'm using Schluter all set because that's the brand of the system that I'm using to build this steam shower. So if you get some squeeze through, the thinset comes through the grout lines, you want to clean that up while thinset is still fresh, because it's going to be a lot harder when thinset cures. So a brush can really help with this. Use a brush to clean out the joints, the grout joints, and then wipe it down with a sponge, and then repeat if you have to. You just want to make sure you clear those grout joints, otherwise when you go to grout it, it's going to show through and you're going to really have a hard time. Sometimes even a toothbrush will work. I generally put a brush in my tool bucket. So once you got that first row or 2 rows or whatever you did in place, it's time to pick up some more tile. And generally what I'll do is I'll pick up the tiles and arrange them so that I know exactly where each sheet goes when I'm trying to put them back. If the tile is a square tile, it's not quite as difficult. You can just stack them, but when it's sheets like this, you probably want to arrange them so that you know exactly where each sheet goes. So you're going to pick up enough so that you can reach comfortably, and then you're going to move on. You're going to cement that down, and then you're going to move on to the next section. You could probably do like 1 or 2 rows and then pick up the rest. On a larger floor, you probably want to do it in sections. Okay, so once you get to the drain, and you're gonna completely fill where the flange is with thinset. You don't want to, get thinset in the actual drain hole, but around where the bonding flange is, you want to fill that with thinset. You're gonna press your drain in, and then you're gonna add some more cement, and you want the thinset to go up into the back of the grate assembly, so that that's completely filled. Because the thinset is what is going to hold the drain in place. So when I push this down to get exactly even with the tile, a little bit might squeeze through, but you're just going to deal with that and you're going to clean it up. Okay, so I got the tile around the drain in. Now I'm going to push the drain down into position so it's even with the surface of the tile. I want to keep it as level as possible, and I want to keep it so that the tile is either just slightly above the drain or perfectly even. You don't want the drain grate being above the surface of the tile. So what I forgot to show is when I picked up the pieces that were cut around the drain, I put them on a piece of curdy board in the position that they fit around the drain. If you just pick them up and put them aside, you're going to have a hard time trying to figure out where each piece goes. This way you know exactly where they go because it's in the corresponding position on the board. And you're going to put them in and make sure that the pieces are exactly even with the top of the drain, or they are just slightly, ever so slightly above. You don't want the drain grate being higher than the tile, because then the water won't drain properly. And so you're going to put these in and then clean it up as you go along. And there you have it. One river rock shower floor installed.